At the dawn of the space race, the United States and Soviet Union were in a neck-and-neck sprint to claim the heavens for their own glorious empires. But as mission after mission wrenched the secrets of the stars from the universe itself, rumors began to circulate that some of the explorers that were rocketed into the skies above never returned. The theory of the lost cosmonauts begins, strangely enough, in Italy, with a pair of brothers named Achille and Giovanni. The brothers were amateur radio operators and had already become well known for picking up transmissions from Sputnik and even the heartbeats of the Soviet space dog Laika on board Sputnik 2. Laika herself is a lost cosmonaut. On November 28, 1960, the brothers were alerted to something strange. An East German observatory announced that they had picked up a strange signal on the Soviet space frequency. When the brothers tuned to that frequency, they picked up what sounded like a hand-keyed SOS signal. The most disturbing thing about the signal was that it showed almost no relative speed, which could only mean one thing. It was on a direct course away from the planet. As the brothers listened, the signal grew weaker and weaker, until it finally winked out. The brothers had apparently just discovered evidence that a Soviet space capsule had gone off course and drifted permanently into outer space with a cosmonaut on board. 2 months later, the brothers detected another transmission. This time it seemed to be the labored breaths of an unconscious man and a heartbeat. When they played the recording for their father, a cardiologist, he postulated that the heartbeat was of a man suffering cardiac arrest. 2 days later, the Soviets announced the failed re-entry of a large, unmanned spacecraft. In April of 1961, the brothers picked up the transmissions of Yuri Gagarin, the official first person to orbit the Earth. The story wasn't over. In fact, the most disturbing chapter was still to come. In May of 1961, they picked up a new transmission. It was a woman's voice speaking in Russian. Although she seemed calm and professional, her tone became more and more strained and then panicked as the transmission continued and finally ceased. The translation came out as, "Isn't this dangerous? Talk to me. Our transmissions begin now. I feel hot. I can see a flame. Am I going to crash? Yes, I feel hot. I will re-enter." Cold War Russia was a torrent of secrets. It is well documented that there were cosmonaut deaths prior to Gagarin's flight, and it is also well known that Grigory Nebulov, a cosmonaut who committed suicide in 1966 after being bounced from the program, was effectively erased from the records, airbrushed from photographs. His medical and service records edited. In fact, the man's involvement in the program wasn't brought into light until 1986. It's thought by proponents of the lost cosmonaut theory that the USSR lost as many as 11 people. Still, the Soviet Union never acknowledged that they had lost any cosmonauts in space. Many have said that the Soviets covered up the deaths to prevent any damage to the reputation of their space program, while others have said that the brothers manufactured their recordings. With the almost irrational secrecy of the Soviet Empire, it's not hard to imagine covering up something that might lead to national embarrassment in the face of competition with their greatest rivals. And if these lost cosmonauts did exist, official information on them has either been long since lost or is still gathering dust somewhere. If they did exist, however, the most incontrovertible evidence floats out there somewhere in the infinite void. A cold and powerless metal tomb with a long-forgotten hero, waiting patiently for the day he might be found by the explorers of a later age.